Welcome back, everybody. It's the man of the house, Bright Knight, here at the Not Our Crib podcast. And how's everybody been? I want to check in with everybody, see how everybody's been. Tell me how life's been. Go ahead and comment under the video here. I'll leave the comments on Spotify and other podcasting platforms as well outside of YouTube. And dang, man, I know I was supposed to upload last week, but I decided to give myself more time to get more topics and just get the feel of just taking in life and putting it into my notes. That's usually how I go about putting the podcast together. I just like let things come to me naturally and just put it down for later. But I do got some interesting topics here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. What is the most antisocial thing you've done? Now, in today's day and age, people have become more antisocial than social, even though we have more ways of communicating with each other. And I find it very interesting how that can be. Like, one of the things I typically do is if there's an option to order my food online and then go pick it up, I'd rather do that than just call. I'd rather do that than just walk in. I'd rather walk in and walk out with my food. I don't really need to go in there and have a whole chit chat and sit down and wait for the food when I can just order it, stay in the comfort of my home, and go out. But that's not the most antisocial thing I'm doing. That's just an example. And when I can't do that, like put in an order, I don't choose to eat from there. I choose to find somewhere else just because I just want to limit the human interaction needed to go and get my food. So, but the most antisocial thing that I've done, and I've done this recently, and it's probably not going to change for a little bit, is one day while I was at work, I had to use the bathroom. It was, after lunchtime, and I had to really go and drop a deuce. So I go to the bathroom on my floor. And when I walk in, there's some coworkers in there. They're talking and everything, and I'm not really. I'm feeling like I'm about to blow up this bathroom. Okay, so I just kind of just walk out, and then I head to the floor beneath me. So I go to the fourth floor. I walk in, same thing. Someone's already in the bathroom using it, the stall right next to where I was gonna go. And I'm like, dang, man, I'm really cooking right now. Like, I can feel the bubbles in my stomach. I'm starting to hurl over a little bit, man. Turtling left and right. So I'm like, okay, let's go to the third floor. I got on to the third floor. It's empty. So when I get to the stall, it's out of order. They didn't put a sign on it. It just got a huge bag of plastic over both of the stalls. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I head down to the second floor. And then when I get to the second floor, it's filled again. There's one guy right there next to the stall, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like I'm starting to really feel it, and I'm like, I don't want to be bothered because when I'm in the bathroom, in a public bathroom, unless I absolutely have to use it, I just enjoy the tranquility of me just being alone and just feeling safe, feeling at peace, feeling very mindful, very demure. So anyways, I go back up to the sixth floor now, and when I walk in, somebody's already in the bathroom, but I just walk straight out. And they're probably wondering, like, why does people keep walking in and out of the bathroom? Like, people on the camera probably seeing me, like, yo, is he okay or something? Like, but I finally go back to the fifth floor, and no one's in the bathroom, because I figured at this point in time, everyone's already used it. I walk in, take a seat, and about 5 seconds after I'd already sat down and begun the dropping, I'd begun the process. It was already too late. Somebody walks in, goes to the stall next to me, and blows it up worse than what I thought I was gonna do. That man, woo, bruh, that man, I don't know what he ate. Probably had some Mexican Indian food, and he just let it all out, bro. Like, and I didn't have no earphones, so I had to hear the whole thing and his freaking moan. I did all that running around for nothing. I wasted so much time. That was extremely like antisocial and just a waste of my time. Like, I did all that for nothing. I could have just sat there the first time, got it over and done with. But that habit has not changed since the last time I had to use the bathroom. And if it's not too bad, I'll just wait till I go home. A lot of people are very antisocial, very antisocial, and people say I'm really good at conversation skills. Partially why we have a podcast, but and I thought it was just kind of like not a backhanded compliment, but it was just like they didn't really have much to compliment me on. And part of the reason is people have become very antisocial. We got to do better with that. We have to become more social. We need to become more open because over time I realize I will never get what I want unless I go out and speak to people and do it. And like sometimes I don't feel like talking because that's just the introvert part of me. But aside from that, not everybody's an introvert. People just be talking. Like not everyone's an introvert. Some people are just a little awkward, but not everyone's an introvert. So I would say like we gotta do better with. I think public speaking should just be a part of all curriculums in schools, so people can break the nerves and the stage fright that they have, and just kind of open up. Challenge that I have to everybody: go speak to 5 new people out in public. Just say hi to them, ask them how their day is, ask for their name, and just tell them, I just wanted to go out and just speak to new people. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I feel like that should be something I should bring to the podcast. A little bit of challenges. And when you go and do that, come back to this video and let us know how that went. Leave it in the comments. I spoke to 5 different people and I got to learn a little bit about them. Specifically, I would say older people because they always like to talk. So, why aren't individual sports more popular than team sports? This was like an interesting thought I had, partially because I had just finished watching Challengers for the first time, and I was like, tennis actually seems very, very interesting when you get into the idea that everybody who plays has to pay an entry fee. People get paid to just make an appearance on the court. They can play in lower level events or lower, I would say, not as like mainstream events, and just work their way up. I thought that was like very interesting. Versus when we have team sports like football, basketball, soccer, those are some of the huge, like the biggest sports in the world. And partially, I think the reason why team sports are bigger than individual sports is that team sports, you have a level of camaraderie. Am I saying that word right? Camaraderie, camaraderie. You know what I'm trying to say. Teamwork makes the dream work. You got multiple players playing multiple positions. Everybody has to work like a well-functioning engine in order to succeed at the sport. And that's great. You know what I mean? People love being able to come together and they're all matching their jerseys, the uniforms. But also individual sports shows the level of skill that one person has to have in order to beat other people at the same, if not higher skill level. And it really all comes down to who wants it more. It's like who has the dog in them, who's up to par, who can overcome their challenges. It's really interesting. And so when I was watching Challengers and seeing how they simulate what it would actually be like to play tennis, and you get the shots where they're like in close up person, so first person perspective of the tennis ball, and you see like the strategy that has to go behind one person's mind in order to get the points that they need to succeed. It's like, dang, I want to know why this isn't as big as something like basketball. Like tennis is definitely a big sport, definitely. But who do you talk about more? Do you talk about LeBron James or do you talk about ex tennis player here? I don't even know what a tennis player off the top of my head. Actually, I do know. I think the dude name's like Rafael. I don't know his last name, but I think I think he might be like a Spanish tennis player. But Serena Williams, of course. Venus Williams, of course. Naomi Osaka, of course. I was thinking in terms of men because what? No, not like that. No. You know what I mean. Stop playing with me. What individual sport would you decide to do? For me, based on my, physical capability, I would choose golf. Why golf? Well, I wouldn't choose boxing because I don't want CTE. I wouldn't choose tennis because I have severe arthritis in my knees, cartilage damage in my knees, and I've also suffered 2 knee contusions in my left knee. So after seeing what happened in that movie, woof, I done had, hold on. Now I'm starting to get flashbacks because anyways, so golf is just a much easier sport on your body. And it's a sport that people, when they become older, begin to pick up. And that's just like sport with a lot of longevity. And I've actually considered getting myself into the sport of golf, and try to play professionally eventually. But once I find the time to go ahead, train, practice, and I still have golf clubs. Shout out to my uncle Anthony for that. I still have golf clubs in my truck, so try me if you want to. I keep a pole on me. Um, but there's always overseas, which is a good thing as well. And that's another thing about individual sports. You travel the world more frequently. For tennis players and golf players, they join different tours and events, and they join different opens to compete. Tennis and golf, your skills are the key to your success. So, you know, you done already paid your entry in. Now you got to actually profit off of it, whether it's going to be off your appearance or how well you place in the tournament. And so I really think that we should put a little bit more focus on these individual sports just for our own sake, so that way we can become more healthy, become more active outside, and shoot, we can compete amongst our friends and have our own tournaments. So now, while we're on the topic of sports, one thing that I wanted to talk about, because Super Bowl's up and coming, if not already passed by the time I put this video out, is we have the Eagles and we have the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. And one of the big headlines that I saw was, this is a Super Bowl where there will be two black quarterbacks. And a lot of the people under the video, who are the same tone as me, if you're wondering, same skin tone as me, said they do not care. This shouldn't be something that is always being pushed. And I started to think how there is always some sort of agenda that's being pushed. Now, on the surface, you're probably thinking, well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. We love to see that. But you got to remember, sometimes they push these agendas about race, not to better race or to not be more accepting of race, but to get people who are already bitter and have a negative stereotype and outlook on people of different colors, backgrounds, cultures, to look down on them or to feel like this is being forced down their throats and pause. But it's one of those things that we got to stop and roll back on. And I'm talking about in the media perspective. The media has to start pushing this away and stop trying to force it in people's faces. I believe one of the things that Morgan Freeman said when he talked about racism was, part of the thing that you can do to stop it, stop talking about it. Let's stop making everything about race. Let's not making everything, if we really are not trying to focus on race, if we're really trying to go past racism, we're really trying to get past this, we gotta stop talking about it. We gotta accept what was done, what can be done to fix it, but stop making it such a huge deal. And so with this push on DEI and trying to remove it, they always market it as people of color receiving the best benefit, when statistically they don't. And the only reason why people don't know that is because people don't do research. They only take, still to this day, they only take what is told to them on the TV, turn the TV off, and go and look up the information for yourself. And what they found was that DEI was most beneficial towards white women and not people of color. Not saying it didn't work, but the ones who benefited the most were white women. And now that it is gone, there's still, y'all president is still pushing that all these things that's been happening with the planes and aviation happens to be because of DEI. The narrative that they choose to push, they're not dumb. They know exactly what they're doing. What did Cat Williams say? If I can make you look here and the lie is right here, I'm still looking over here to make sure you don't see it. Like, I'm just paraphrasing what he's saying. But essentially what I picked up from it is that we're gonna keep making it look like this when it's really this. So we'll keep looking over here to make sure you don't see that, knowing what it actually is. And so it's all just amount of propaganda. And the thing that we got to do as a people is realize that, you got to stand up against this stuff and move away from it in order for them to stop. And even if they don't stop, just don't care, because they're going to have to keep finding new ways to keep pushing these narratives, and we just got to let this narrative go. So stop making everything about race. It is an important thing. It is an integral part of society, with the things that have been done and the things that people are trying to get away from. But with the thing of trying to remove Black history and that, we need to take the information that is available to us on Google and other platforms to find it, and just gather the books that we need and keep it to ourselves. There is even narratives in books that talk about getting rid of history and books itself. Example, Fahrenheit 451. One of the things that they did was burn books. The firefighters burned books. They did not want people knowing or learning any knowledge, so they would get rid of it. And that's what they're doing. We're removing history and DEI out of these systems, because history, like the Tuskegee Airmen, are being removed, so that way it's just blank. You're just trying to erase history, and that's what colonization was. That's what colonization is, and that's what is being done today. So we gotta start taking the information that we have available to us, taking the tools we have available to us, and saving this information so we can pass this on later in life. We need to take a better look into our history and realize that we've been doing a whole lot. People in general. When you go look up things, when you look up who created the GPS, look up who created video games, look video game systems, look up who created street lights, heart defibrillators, ironing boards, fire extinguishers. Look who created those things. The internet. The internet was, so she technically did not create the internet, but a woman created the internet because of the math problem that is used to give us Wi-Fi was utilized in what we have now. And being able to watch this video, being able to put this video out, being able to call on your phone, was created by a woman. And I believe I even spoke about this in a previous podcast. I believe I did. But aside from that, please do your due diligence and go look up those people's names for yourselves. That's the reason why I haven't name dropped them. So I want you guys to take another piece of homework. Please go ahead and just look those things up and keep them on a bookmark tab, clipboard, such thing, or find where you can purchase their autobiography books, or even keep their stories alive. And that's very important, because once they're gone, they're gone. The type of knowledge that existed during colonization, before colonization, that could be very beneficial to society today, or the practices that were taught, probably gone forever, because they didn't think they needed it. It's just horrific how like history really does repeat itself. That's why we learn it. So speaking of propaganda, or pushing a narrative, I'm glad these things just kind of link together. My topics link together unintentionally, but I'm looking at them in my notes and they're all just kind of coming together. So speaking of propaganda and pushing a narrative, I was just seeing a video. I can't figure out exactly who the person was. It's been a minute, but where somebody was talking about popular like gurus and dating coaches and podcasts that often talked about men and women and the problems that we've been having and trying to navigate the current dating space. And yeah, it's absolutely terrible. And a lot of the things that many of them that they were saying was good at the start, or it sounded good, or it had truth to it. And now the people that were pushing this narrative are not exactly who they say to be. And you can go ahead. There was like, I don't even need to say some of their names. If you know what I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. But there was this one guy who has several different clones, but one guy who was always pushing the narrative for women to look down on men and prop women up as looking better, and that they're just struggling with the bad men of the world today. And come to find out, everything that he was describing these men were, he was exactly himself, taking no accountability. And then when he was taking accountability, he didn't really do much different. And the issue isn't even with him after being outed for his lies. The issue is that the audience still stayed after finding that out, and keeping this going for other unsuspecting and unknowing people who may fall into this trap. I don't know, but with the intelligence of people today, these people, you know what I'm saying, it's likely to happen. The fact that he still has an audience is insane. And then you get past the content creator making videos about it to another guy who's making tweets and posts about it that every girl wants to post. And then you get to the guy who's grifting and switching, and whole time he's smashing everybody, smashing every girl he talking to because he done sweet talked his way into it. And it's like, damn, they're almost, if not even worse than the players who just don't give a damn, who just don't care. The ones who got like 3 other girls on their roster. But these ones make it seem like you got to be the only one in the game. When the whole time they done said that to like 5 different women. And then on the men's side, I thought it wasn't going to be bad. It was worse. A lot of them are not who they say they are. Every person they try to shame, oh man, you got to be tough, you got to be strong, you got to be masculine, you got to be rich, you got to be famous. They're a bunch of losers. They're a bunch of losers. And the only reason why they get anything is because you put your time and money into their pockets. So now they're living the life that they're trying to sell you. And in my personal life, I've seen the complete opposite of what they describe succeed twice as. I know dudes who have no money, who can't even pay for their phone bill, got hoes. I know dudes who have 0 muscle mass, got hoes. And and maybe they got a good mouthpiece. They know how to speak. I've seen dudes who have 0 game, get hoes. Partially, it's because you're being yourself, and the other part is preparation and opportunity. If you are prepared for it and the opportunity arrives, you can find success. Even for me, when I try, I don't win nothing. Even when it's coming towards me and I'm prepared, it doesn't always result in a W. But there have been times where I wasn't even looking for anything at all and have found success. So it's really just an odd place. There are a lot of factors that take place. It could be location that could affect your results. It could be type. What is the type that you like? And what does that type like out of a person? Whatever the case may be, there's no like instant success win, especially now. There's no way, because of the amount of information that's flowing and flowing and flowing. Yes, you can curve your results up, but I've seen people who you would think get all the hoes take L's. It's nothing that serious, man, and especially with everybody just being all over the place and being promiscuous. Like, I decided to stay out of it. I'm not very trusting of people. I don't know what they got going on or what they have. And yeah, you can ask, and yeah, you can wear protection, but they can only protect you for so much, if for other factors as well. You never know what could happen. So it's best that you just, and then, I'm cutting my own self off. And then you could lock yourself down into something. That person goes out, and now you caught something because they caught it from somebody else who wasn't locked down in anything. It's insane how poorly these, like, and I try not to psych myself out, but it's insane how prepared you may try to make yourself, how many precautions you'll take, and you could still end up getting hurt in the end. Like, for instance, we gotta put a lockdown on allowing people. We need people to wear chastity belts at this point. I need more people wearing chastity belts, cause I know about five or six people in my personal life that have all caught a disease. 5. They all got them from women, which is insane because the statistics for them is a lot higher. And that's why I don't trust going to Texas. Like, I heard about Texas. Nope. Chastity belt is on lock. Okay, because people want to have fun and people want to live this life. They want to be. They think this is the way to go, and it's not. It's just a perversion of what really we need to practice on. What really we need to practice, and that's like family, that's like community together. But we all just decided to buy into this propaganda, and we all just trying to live our best lives. And some people are living with things they can't get rid of now because they wanted to be freakadeeks and they wanted to be outside. And the funny thing is, part of the reason why I'm switching to this next topic, the bedroom, is in my research, my research for this topic, I came across an actress Yeah. And she was doing an interview, and she was saying that when she started acting, her family, her community shunned her. And she was like, at first it kind of sucked, but as time went on, she realized they're no different than what I'm doing. What I'm doing is just on camera. And I was like, that's facts. I'm not gonna lie, because I done heard some crazy stories, and I done seen some crazy things happen in my man. Where do I want to take it? Let's go back when I think I was still in high school. I was probably like a sophomore or something. And so around this point in time, I'm a sophomore in high school, and I'm chilling with a family member, and I'm chilling with their friends. And while they're talking, they're like, "Hey, yo, we about to have a few Jones come over, man." You know what I'm saying? And so, me being the innocent young man I am, I'm just shaking my head like, "Okay, cool." It was about 5 of us. It was 5 of us, right? So these 2 girls come over, and one of them goes upstairs. So 2 other people go upstairs. Now I'm downstairs, and then the last one goes upstairs. Last two upstairs. Yeah, I was the only one. Yeah. So everybody goes upstairs but me and this other John. And I'm just like I never been here before. Like I'm brand new to this. I don't know how to finesse what they're trying to do upstairs down here. I thought they liked me so much the first time meeting me that I get to have all fun by myself. I didn't know what the hell I could pull. So I decided, you know what? Let's not catch a case. Let's just chill because we don't know what we're doing. We're not used to these lanes. And I'm glad it went down that way because eventually I just decided to go upstairs to see what they were doing. So I was just gonna piggyback off what they were doing. Don't judge me, right? So I go upstairs and I go chill with the family friend, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, like shoot, they getting it in right now." I'm like, "What you talking about, bruh?" They did a whole man up, man down. I don't know what y'all call it. People say trains, people say whatever. I call it man up, man down because if it's not at the same time, and what I'm saying, like it's a switch maneuver. So I call it man up, man down. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering, like, wait a minute, how much time has passed since I wasn't really down there for that long? Man, by the time I got up there, 2 mans went up, one and 2 mans went out. So I'm sitting here like, y'all move quick. Y'all move quick. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. This is really happening. I thought this was just like out of the ordinary. I didn't think this was something that was just not necessarily casual, but I didn't think this would be in this close of a proximity towards me. I thought I would just hear this story from a distant relative, cousin, friend, dog, sister, auntie. Like that's what I thought I would hear a story like this from. So eventually, the game was over. Man, they done came in, checked into the game. They're done. I go back downstairs, because shoot, they done tore, they don't know wore it out, bro. I'm like sitting here like, bro, like yeah, bro. I was the last one up, bro. You'll be good. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm good. I'm glad I had no parts. Cause I go downstairs. The friend, the friend's just like laughing, and she's just hating. I call it hating because it's like she's like, dang, she's about to come down here. She's about to look so stupid, blah blah blah. She always does stuff like this, like has no respect for herself. And I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. So the friends get together and they get up out of here, and then we're talking, and they was asking if I did anything down here, and I said no, like I wasn't familiar with the game, man. I wasn't acclimated to this. And he's like, good, because, and I'm like, what do you mean good? And he's like, because the friend downstairs had a UTI. I didn't even know what the hell that was. And then I Googled it. And I'm like, the nerve, I told him, I was like, the nerve to say all that and shaming your friend when you are no different, when you are no cleaner than them. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to just stay to myself. That was like my first instance of just realizing maybe this game is not meant for you to play. Like maybe You be a good boy and show it. Like, what did Vince Staples say? He said you a bitch. Like, I don't be, but not for real. You a bitch. Your mama raised a good boy. Go sit over there. And that's exactly what I did. I sat my ass over there. So so that's my first instance of seeing like some like off the wall stuff. I want to be as PG as I can, like PG-13 as I can. But I done heard other crazy stories, man. I done heard a cousin of mine pull up on a John at work, then smack buns on the clock. I done heard stories of people pulling up to parks middle of the night, smacking. I done even heard a story where my one friend pulled up with a John at a park middle of the night, and then he seen a car that he recognized, and it was someone he knew pulled up with their date at the park, and I'm just like, bruh. Like, it's like y'all know the spots, bro. Like, y'all just, like, it's, oh my goodness, man. These people are freaks. There's certain things I really want to say, but I can't, because, bro, I can't say certain stories. At least not yet, man. At least not yet. Eventually, but we'll keep it PG-13, bro. We'll keep it PG-13 for now, uh, but all in all, the important thing here that I wanted to talk about was that the whole ideology of of just sexuality, when we have somebody who's an actress, like made a really did actually make a good point. Like, a lot of people are doing the same things that she's doing. It's just not recorded for the public, and it's gonna have a negative connotation on them. If they find happiness, they find happiness. But the amount of people out here that just doing like insane things, and I used to think it was just a rare occasion. This thing is so common now. It's a shame. That's why I say we advocate for chastity belts on people, because this is just nasty work. And when people tell me like, man, you just like, come on, man, like it's okay, it's normal now, like we all okay with. I'm like, no, because the thing that it mentally it ruins your mindset. And even in my experience doing goonerish activities, what they're doing is not. I'm not saying it's better, but it's not like I'm not saying it's not as bad either, because when it comes to dating, I'm like, I don't want nobody who's outside. I don't want nobody who's out there. I don't want nobody who's played a lot of games. Okay, I gotta get my status reports, man. I need my scouting reports. I need to know where you been, who you been with. Like, I need to know all that. That's important to me. Why is it? Because people say, well, bro, people gonna have their fun, bro. I'm like, yeah, you right. But how little of experience can I get out of somebody? Because my rationalization is, the more, the worse. And that doesn't matter what gender you are. So, for instance, if I was to date somebody who had a high body count, I'm not necessarily just looking at the physical part. It's always the mental part. Mentally, what has put you in the position to want to do that? You have to be mentally comfortable with doing that. So let's say this. Let's say the first thing is that's how they cope. That's their coping mechanism, right? Sleeping around is their coping mechanism. So now you gotta take someone serious. You gotta be in a relationship with somebody who that's when they cope. So what happens when you get into an argument? That's how they say sorry? Like, what happens if the argument gets so bad, they start cheating? Because they can't handle it. They gotta do something in order to relieve the stress that they're going under. That's one thing. Then let's say they don't really know who they are. They don't know themselves. They have low self-esteem. Now you got to deal with somebody who done went out there and tried to find validation through sleeping with people, and then they come to you. Now they feel a little safer. That's not good. You're not going to get the same. You're not going to get the same result as everybody else. They didn't care about those people before. They thought they did. They did it, but they care about you now. So guess what? They look at you at a higher standard. You can't get it as easily anymore, because they want you to look at them as a person, not as an object like everybody else. Let's say somebody just a freak. You got to deal with a freak. And if you're not freaky, you won't get cheated on. It's these things that you got to take into account when you're looking for longevity in a relationship. And that's why I look at it is like, listen, you can go ahead and do what you want. I don't want to be a part of what you got going on. You done did what you did. I'm not going to look at you I'm not gonna be like you're. I mean, nah. Some people are whores. I'm not gonna lie. Some people are really need to get sat down. And I even tell people, I tell dudes like, yo, you need to go sit down, bro. You really do, because I know this many people who this happened to them. I don't want that happening to you. So as long as you're safe, I need you to. I would say, people say wrap it up. I say cut it out. Done. End it. No more. No bueno. Put it away. Like there are free, safe options out here. I would like you to exercise those. But as a society, in order for us to be better, in order for relationships to have more longevity, we gotta go back to the 20s. I'm not gonna lie, we gotta go back to the 1920s, where we couldn't even have husband and wives in the same bed on TV, where we couldn't even say that a woman was pregnant on TV. We couldn't. We need to go back to that. Chastity belts in session, bro. Chastity belts on the site. Chastity belts in the description. That's what we need more of. And I know like we're laughing and joking and everything, and you probably think I'm not serious. I'm kind of serious though, because I'm not gonna lie, I can't even bring myself to want to do that without me having a second thought of like, yo, this person's probably freaking dirty, or this person like, I could even be with somebody who's been in the situation. I'm not gonna lie. I told my friend why. It's like, why would I, as somebody who's looking for a full-time job, want to work where they were giving someone who's working part-time full-time benefits? I'm putting 40 hours a week. This person's putting less than 20 hours a week and getting paid the same, getting all the same benefits as me. And I actually want to work here. They just happen to stumble upon the job. Why would I want to do that? You know what I mean? I find that's disrespectful to my name. Well, with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to today's Yap session. I just kind of wanted to get back into the space of podcasting. I know I said that last time. I know my mom probably going to be watching this. Like, why you keep touching your hair on camera? I'm sorry. I'm not used to having hair. I like it. But aside from that, I want to know what you guys think. So if you guys can please like, comment, subscribe, share, and do all that, man. And just keep the conversation going. You know what I'm saying? Let's expand the community. Let's expand the house. But with that being said, this is your man of the house, Bright Night. Thank you guys so much again for listening. And until next time, have an amazing day.